depend on.
Good morning. Good morning. It is Friday, and it's time for us to get into the Tech Friday edition of Business Express 981. You're listening to Smooth 98.1. I'm Valentine. Here's Rotus. Good morning, man. Hey, Rotus. Morning. Wow. Seem like I'm just the other one here. But anyway, so yeah, you can join us live on YouTube by watching. Click on the dial. Actually, just type Smooth FM Lagos, subscribe, and watch. Rosus, can you hear me? 0809 444 0981 is the number to send messages through WhatsApp. Hi, Fisaya. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Valentine. Good morning, Lagos.
For some reason, I don't know if Rotus can hear me. Rotus, can you hear me?
I can hear you now, Val. I can hear you. Sorry about that. Fisaya, good morning. Good morning out there.
Good morning.
We good?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are, Rotus. Fisaya, how you doing, man? How was your week?
Yes, good. A lot is happening in the tech world. A lot's happening in Nigeria. I'm excited about it. Yes. Thank God it's Friday, I guess.
Yep. Thank God it's Friday. We have a few stories to go through in the Tech Friday edition. Rotus, you seem to be back, so please go ahead.
Yeah. So the first of which, of course, is whether a podcast can be worth $1 million. There's a business coach who I follow on Instagram who posted recently that his podcast, he received some equity pitches, if you will, from some investors who put $1 million into his podcast. And I'm wondering, is he just is he whining people, or do you think a podcast can get that kind of valuation?
I think so.
I mean, it's okay. So the way I think about this is that it's distribution, right? Really, if someone has wide range of people, of users, across multiple countries, right? When people have, customers, across countries, that probably even, paying for this, to stream the podcast, all of that could be interesting. I mean, even the founder of 20-Minute VC, which is a podcast, recently raised a fund, which is his maiden fund in excess of hundreds of millions of dollars, right? So it's not impossible for someone to have, investment. Again, this is equity stake, not like valuation. Just want to give the person money so they can do better, right? Not like that buying the podcast from him, but just to invest in a podcast and see if there's something interesting here. Right, so I don't think it's impossible to get equity offers. If I think about podcasts as publishing, right, then of course, you can see from that perspective, then it means that it makes sense, to run as a business rather than just side hustle or gig that people do.
That sounded like a shade to some people. Side hustle or gig, but I think it's possible though. Rotus.
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting development. Thank you, Fisaya. I want to quickly hop on cybersecurity. Joe Biden's recent meeting roundtable with tech CEOs on cybersecurity, and then there's a raft of cybersecurity news coming out. A hacker that hacked T-Mobile in the United States said that their security is awful. Put out a warning recently that their cloud computing structure could be vulnerable. Another one was there again. There was one more bit of news. Fisaya, what do you make of where are we with cybersecurity? There was which was the game that just happened not long ago. We talked about hacks. Well, what do you think of what's going on with cybersecurity across the world right now?
I mean, I'm surprised that you mentioned Joe Biden when it comes to cybersecurity. I mean, that's such a shame. Such a shame of a precedent. Just put out there, right? It's such a shame of a precedent. Anyways, talking about serious stuff, right, around cybersecurity. The fact that people put their, cloud computing is getting mainstream. The fact that people put their entire infrastructure on a cloud database. No most people are not using, local hosting again, right? So it puts, pressure across different things, right? So the same way when banking became, electronic, banking became, electronic basically, when cash. Okay, so let me step back. Back in the days in Nigeria, right, when we used to, before banking, if I make transfers, people carry cash from Lagos to Onitsha to go and buy stuff, or people come from bring cash from Onitsha to Lagos to come and buy stuff from Apapa, all of that. So what people did then was that armed robbers would stop people's vehicle on the highways and rob them of their cash, physical cash or physical goods, right? So that's what happened because of the infrastructure that was available then. Right. Once banking became electronic, right, then of course start seeing people breaching credit cards, debit cards, pretending to be customer service agents, and then you ask for your PIN and all of that kind of details, right? So that's what it's saying. So now exactly it's this age at which we are in, where everything is. I mean, cloud computing is now big, is now mainstream, especially, right? I mean, it's strange that people, I mean, when I started my finance career, people had server rooms, right? Because you have to have your server room, have batteries, ACs, keeping your server room cool. Those kind of things are not necessarily available again today, right? Because all of this infrastructure is probably hosted online. Once that happens, of course, opens you to a risk, of attacks and of course, acts and all of that. So that's what happens. So it means that people just need to take security a lot more seriously than they've been doing before now. So I don't think it's anything strange. It's just the age in which we are. If you move from cloud computing to, I don't know, ground computing, we'll see new challenges that will accompany that change as well. So it's just one of those things that happen with development of the tech ecosystem, and I think it's what we should all prepare for. But please don't mention Joe Biden and anything around tech again, please.
Sayo, what is your problem with Joe Biden? We have messages now. Daniel says, don't the cloud infrastructure platform holders provide security? Henry Manuel says, Joe Rogan signed a $100 million deal with Spotify for exclusive rights to the Joe Rogan Experience. That's a long-form podcast, so why not?
True. I think Rotus internet is shaky today.
Yeah, on the Tech Friday edition. That's interesting to see. Send us a message. WhatsApp 0809-444-0981. There's this story here that I'm going to just pull up for very quickly. It talks about Apple and striking an app store deal with small developers as it waits for Fortnite ruling. Do you have an insight to this to provide, Kisayo?
Yes. So it's that thing. I think we've discussed it before here around how people that build platforms tend to want to control, their platform end to end. Right. So what Apple used to do is that, I mean, for payments on their App Store, which is iOS, right? On their store, actually, on their Apple Store.
App Store.
Right.
Yes.
What people do is that once people start paying for in-app purchases or payments across, Apple charges 30% of that fee, and then remit 70% to the developers of those apps and games and all of that kind of things. So developers are like, no, guys, it doesn't make sense that you're charging us this much. And of course, because you're charging that much, they also did not give these developers, alternatives, right? So it's not like I have a choice. I have to use, Apple Pay. I can't use Paystack. Do you understand? I can't use another way to collect payments. So it forces them to use Apple's the Apple Pay, and then of course Apple then charges them 30% for the benefit or for the privilege of collecting payments on their behalf. So developers are like, no, this doesn't make sense, not fair. And of course, Apple will explain to them that, guys, I have distribution, I have something hundreds of millions of users across the world. You either want to get on this plane or not, right? So that was the thing. But of course, antitrust, conversations started happening along those lines, right? legislations are being looked into to try and review some of those practices, right? Competitive pressure from Google around Google's decision on their own Google Play Store and how payments should be done on that store as well. Started forcing conversations around how Apple will handle the payments and of course developer issues on its ecosystem. Right. So based on all of those pressures, first from government, then the courts, then competitive pressures, Apple has decided that okay, no problem. You want to be able to have alternative payments, go ahead and have it. And I think it's what it is for the entire development of the payment space. I mean, for small game developers and every other person making money off app stores and play stores and all these stores across the globe.
That's a solid.
So what about the impact on Apple's revenue? What about all the wider applications?
Okay, yeah. Of course, it means that two things will happen, right? Two things can happen. Revenues can decline if people then take payment out of the Apple ecosystem, right? But alternatively, second thing can happen, meaning that Apple itself can then reduce its own fees and then encourage more payment on its platform, right? So those are the two options that are available. But I think it's going to be the former, where people will take payment out of the Apple ecosystem, much more than payments within the ecosystem. But of course, I think users find it more comfortable or convenient, because all you need to do is just to put your card details once. As you've done that at the beginning, right? So the same way you use on Google Play, right? You just pay. Once you pay, you just move on, right? So it's easier and more convenient, to pay using Apple Pay or Google Play, Google Pay, right? But the scenario is not a doomsday scenario, right? It's either going to be that once Apple reduces own fees, more payment because it's more comfortable, it's more convenient than going to a third-party platform then coming back to play your game, right? So it's more convenient to do that, but the challenge you're having is that the fees are high, right? So I think it's better on users. So you might probably see higher volumes, for Apple, but if there's going to be a revenue decline, I don't think it's going to be extremely sharp drop, because I think users will still want to pay using the Apple Pay.
Great stuff.
Excellent. I just feel like that's a tight business model to have, especially for Apple, and just keep everything in-house and keep the money rolling in. Daniel, yep. Say that again.
I said it's easier.
Yeah, it is. It is. They make it seem easier so that, you're trapped in that circle, in that bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody sent us this story. Actually, Daniel sent us a screenshot of Power. It says PowerPay closes $9 million deal or seed round from MSA and Mr. Izzy Zagadat Capital. I think Power, yeah, I think Power is Empower is as part of Mr. Izzy's model, yeah, to raise artists and provide them with some sort of structural supports or networking around the world, especially in Africa.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think it's interesting to see that music artists are moving, to becoming not just a music artist, but to becoming entrepreneurs themselves, right? Chocolate City doesn't just do chocolate. Sorry, they don't do chocolate.
Wow.
Right? They don't just produce music, but they also run businesses, big businesses, right. Enterprise across board. So you start seeing that happen across, and I think Mr. Izzy specifically has been particularly innovative around that music business, and I think it's something interesting to see. When I think that's time suggested I wanted to sell stake, in his next music, where you buy into his music and you're able to share revenue alongside him as the music gets streamed or played and I thought that was simply just innovative, right? Yes. With Empower, with Zagadat Capital, I think it's just innovative. But of course, it doesn't take the the difficulty in content and music business, I think it's just extremely difficult, right? But when we see people that are professionals doing it, I think it's the right step in the right direction.
Thank you so much, Visai. As always, you've been so resourceful, and I really, really like your analysis, except when you're talking about United States politics. In the meantime, Rotus, thanks, man.
Thanks, guys. Thank you so much.
All right. If you missed any part of this conversation, please always refer